places, not just YouTube, but also to Facebook, as well as to Twitch. And I think we're going to start working on Twitter and do Periscope. Are people still on Periscope? We're going to find out. But we're going to stream as many places as possible to reach as many people as possible, because in this time, during the apocalypse, we want to comfort people and let them know that it's not ending. It's just stalled. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce one of the other quarantine. Please welcome, you know him, you love him, the host of Idiot Test on Netflix, one of the regulars on Chelsea Lately. Please give it up for Mr. Ben Gleib, everybody. Ben Gleib.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hofstetter. Hello, Isolation Nation. Thank you for joining the quarantine here on the Social Distancing Social Club. It is going to be a very good show we have in store for you. We have 3 great comedians already in the pipeline ready to bring their comedy to you. Our celebrity guest is Rose McGowan. We are hoping that she will be joining us. She has not yet called in, so we are hoping she's about to call in and isn't having some technical problems, but hopefully she'll be joining us as well. Since we have been promoting that, I'm assuming she'll be hopping on. Let us hope. But regardless, we have a bang-up hour for you, a very fun time. And we're going to say hello in a second to our virtual video audience members. But first, the co-hostess with the most, the co-host, my dear friend.
With the co-mostest.
The co-mostest, yes. Thank you. I had to go outside for the first time in 9 days. I was out of supplies. I had to go get another bottle of whiskey, but I got one, so we're good now. So I think I can stay in another 6-8 days or hours. I don't know how long this bottle lasts. We'll see.
Nice.
Emergency whiskey. That's essential. When they were talking about what's essential, that is essential for sure.
For me, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it keeps you alive. So with that, do we want to say hi to our audience?
Yeah, let's give a quick shout out to our audience members. We have chilling with us Dina. Hello. Nice to have you with us. We've got, who else we got here? We've got Carrie.
You want me to handle this one?
We've got Angie with us. Hello, Angie. Thank you for being with us.
Here, I got it. We got Tony. We got Dina, Angie, Carrie to the rescue, and someone named iPhone. So
that is Sarah. Sarah's under iPhone today.
Hello, Sarah.
Nice. Sarah's back with us. Awesome. So thank you all for being in our audience. For those who are watching the live stream, I know we've gotten questions in the chat about, hey, why aren't they letting people speak? Well, some people are in the audience, and audience doesn't always speak. You guys know that if you watch my YouTube channel. But we're happy to have them. And when we go to take questions, we throw it to the live audience. If you want to join us in the live audience, we would love to have you. The way to do that is we sell those tickets via Eventbrite. It's only $10. You can be on screen with us and ask us some questions. To get those is pretty easy. Go to laughfromhome.com. And while you're there, you can also, that's how you find out where we're streaming. As well as you could kick in the PayPal and the Venmo, and all that stuff is on there. I know the Venmo is top right corner of the screen as well. But that's how you support the show. When the comedians perform, you can tip them that way, or you just throw a couple bucks to the show, and that is how comedians get paid. Can I start, by the way, explaining? I had a very weird night last night. I tweeted something making fun of Matt Gaetz. You guys know Matt Gaetz, the useless piece of shit who is a congressman from Florida?
Indeed.
Yeah. So he wrote he couldn't understand why there was $13 million in the stimulus package for Howard University, because black people go there and he doesn't like that. And so he wrote that he couldn't believe it, and I reminded him that Howard actually runs a hospital in DC that is one of the COVID-19 centers in DC, and that tweet now has 22,000 favorites. And it's a lot of fun because people keep tweeting it to Matt Gaetz, and I've been enjoying the last 24 hours a great deal.
Pretty awesome. I love the ability to hold our leaders to account, especially when they're not leaders and are normally never accountable. So I believe you called him a dumb fuck in that tweet. Which was
I did, great. But it was after the whole tweet was really polite, and then at the end of it, I said, "You dumb fuck," which I think is what made it fun.
Yes,
because
indeed.
I think I had him in the first half.
We found another.
Is he the
another
same
fun-
guy that went to the floor of Congress with a gas mask on?
He is. He's also the same guy who's been arrested for DUI multiple times and who invited a Holocaust denier to the State of the Union. He's had his moments, you know. Oh, and who intimidated a federal witness. You know, he's a dick. So
Well, I found
if you're joining us
last
from
night-
Florida, thank you so much.
I found an app last night called House Party, where you can play drinking games with your friends on a stream like this. So I also had a great night. Not 22,000 tweets or anything, but you know, we had some fun playing some Pictionary last night with our friends. So there you go.
Can you tell us what's the benefit of House Party over all these other apps? Because the games are built in.
Yeah, they're just built in. I mean, so basically you can play like Pictionary or Cards Against Humanities or what was the other one? There's like 3 games. There's a trivia game.
I love how intellectual and educational you just turned Cards Against Humanity to Cards Against Humanities. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it's against the humanities.
I like adding S's to things. It makes me laugh. So, do you guys want to go to our first comic now and save some time for Rose for later when she pops in? Hopefully.
Well, no, I want to first say hi to some of the people on the super chat. I know on Facebook, by the way, the stream was a little bit delayed, but we're all good now. So sorry for the Facebook people. I know we got cut off for a little bit, but they'll be streaming in. Meanwhile, Queen Rachel, do we have anything coming in on the YouTubes?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So we have, so Don't Cry had commented, it's really cool seeing so many of the same people here every day. We're getting a lot of recurring people like joining and chatting on YouTube, which is so great.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like our little COVID community. So we appreciate you guys joining.
Our larger quarantine.
Yeah.
Our main 19 people will be the COVID-19.
Yeah.
We'll make sense. Yes.
We also had Kyra M donated early, gave $2 and just said, welcome everybody. And then FLT of 2 gave $5 and said, ready for another great show from Hans.
Well, what's up, Hans? We appreciate it. We are ready for another great show as well. But yeah, let's why don't we start early with a stand-up, because we can. You know, we do hope Rose can join us, but there are some tech issues, and we'll find out soon enough. So, Mr. Gleib, will you do the honors?
I would be honored to do the honors. I'm very excited to introduce our first stand-up comedian. I met her when we were both guest hosting the Young Turks. You have seen her on MSNBC's Red, White, and Who, National Geographic, the SF Sketchfest, and you can catch and should catch her very smart, very funny show, News Broke, on AJ+. Please give a warm welcome to Francesca Fiorentini, everybody.
Woo! Hey! Oh my God. Thank you, guys. It's so good to be here again in my kitchen. Yes, I have to cook. I'm a slave. I am a slave to myself. I am not wealthy enough to have my own studio or even just a blank wall in front of which to do this. I just, but you know, I just want a blank wall that I can sing Imagine in front of. That's like my career. One day. Maybe you guys are you guys reading? I read 20 pages of a book. I cooked 12 pots of beans, and I haven't had any more sex than usual. And I think that's because of the beans. Like, I'm mad. Whoever is fucking more now, I hate you, and I'm jealous. I thought this was gonna really spice up my, sex life with my boyfriend, but it hasn't. But he did say something really cute the other day. Maybe it was like a quarantine thing. he referred to us as we for the first time. Like he doesn't do that very much. It's like the first time. He said we have herpes, and still counts. It still counts. That joke kills in clubs. I'm so glad. Like, I don't know if you guys have kids. I'm so glad I am not quarantined with kids right now. I'm sorry. I'm very happy I haven't had them yet. And I don't think I'm going to have them. I'm like, I guess just because my feelings about a baby, let me put it like this. My feelings about a baby at this point in my life are like my feelings about an Apple Watch, you know? Like, I don't particularly want one. I definitely don't need one, right? But they're cute. So, like, if someone happened to give me one, I'd re-gift it to my mom. I want so bad. Oh God. Are you guys reading the news?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you read? No, yeah. Tell me in the comments if you're gassier than usual. I've been watching the news, trying not to as much, but I think it's very clear, a lot of political news. And I think it's clear that there is only one candidate that can defeat Donald Trump, and that is COVID-19. And may I just say COVID-19 2020. Like, listen, the most viable candidate we've got. I think it's funny that, like, you guys know, like, I kind of feel like maybe we did this to ourselves. Like, maybe, you know, COVID's like killing like the olds mostly, and it's hurting all the seniors. Like, maybe we said "okay, boomer" one too many times, and coronavirus was like, oh, "You rang," and we're like, no, my mom's got food for me. Trump's having a total meltdown on Twitter, like always. He, of course, is making this all about him. I hope people don't read Trump's Twitter feed. I'm sure you guys are just watching comedy in people's kitchens, and I love it. I do read his Twitter feed because I hate myself, and and it's crazy. Like, I've never been so scared of something I don't understand. It's like a ransom letter with the cutout letters like glued face down, you know, where you're like, yeah. And it's crazy, right? If you actually read Trump's Twitter feed, it doesn't matter what he's tweeting about, doesn't matter what he's talking about. If you read it for long enough, you start to see the code, like it's the fucking Matrix, except all it says is, "There's nothing wrong with my dick. There's nothing wrong with my dick." Yeah, but there's still nothing wrong with my dick. Like, it is so insecure, right? Like, for some context, people, like, I have 13-year-old diary entries that are less insecure than Trump's Twitter feed, you know, that are just like, Nathan, like that level. Sorry. Also not rich enough for AirPods. Trump's Twitter feed is the social media equivalent of a Chevy Silverado with monster tires, you know? Right? Like, we can all see there's something wrong with that dick, okay? There is, all right? He's got wrong dick energy. You guys know? I mean, is that a thing? Like, so, like, what is it? Is it just that it's small, you know? Is it micro? Like one of those, you know, those half sneezes, just like that, you know? Hate those. Or is it wrong? Is it like balls on top? Over the side like a wrinkly saddle. How many Q-tips does it take to clean, you know? Does it whistle when it pees? You know, like, it might, like, wouldn't, and like, which of Enya's greatest hits does it whistle? I hope we are a Enya crowd. There's a P tape out there, no matter what happens in November. There's still a P tape out there with Donald Trump supposedly, and it's holding our entire country hostage. Putin P-tape. Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. I think that P-tape. It's very clear what it has on it. It's just Trump's upside down dick going. Who can say whether only time? My time, you guys. This has been so fucking weird. What the fuck?
Oh, that was great. That was really, really good.
That was before we open the tip jar. I just want to point out that I love the idea that the phrase "Okay, Boomer" is like saying Beetlejuice. You say it 3 times, you summon a pandemic. So tip jar is open right now. If you enjoyed Francesca's set, please kick in a couple of bucks. That is how it works. You can super chat us on YouTube. We are up and running on Facebook now. You can throw in a Venmo if you want, or Venmo's in the top right of the screen, or you can PayPal. If you go to laughsfromhome.com, you can see our PayPal as well. I know we already do have some of those that came in. So we got $8 from David Levy and just said for laughs, which we appreciate. So thank you very much. Queen Rachel, what else we got coming in?
Yeah, we got quite a few. Everybody's loving balls on top.
Holy shit. The idea, like if someone ever told me draw the wrongest dick you can, that wouldn't have even occurred to me. Like that wasn't even in the realm of what I could fathom. That was fucking hilarious.
I just have a quick question for clarification. Balls are not supposed to be on top?
Cool.
Wrinkly Saddle was a very, very funny visual. I love Wrinkly Saddle. Here's what I love about comedy, Francesca, is that those were jokes and obviously things you thought about. But Nathan's a real name from your life, right? Like you said Nathan, like you actually thought about it from 8th grade and like came all the way back. You used I'm just guessing, but that sounded like that was real.
So real to the point where like when I was young, I would just like draw when you have so many, when you're 13, every birthday is like, here, you need another diary. No, really, you need another diary. You need to fill, and so it'd just be like Nathan on one page, and then NAT, and just like, and then when you like rub real hard and you get like 5 pages, you just have to use them up, is what I'm saying. One.
By the way, Nathan, if you're watching right now, Francesca's doing quite well.
Yeah, look at this fucking kitchen. Are you kidding me?
Look, so you can't afford a studio, but.
So Nathan's not the current.
No lie here. My middle name is Nathan.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So
did you go to middle school with Francesca?
Yeah, 2 jokes that reached out to Ben personally.
Yep.
So, by the way, I like the idea that you think you have to be wealthy to screw wood into a wall.
Oh, yes. And what is that? Is that oh no, that's an actual award. I was like, did you make your own award? Because I would just make my own award.
That is a real YouTube plaque. You get them at 100,000 subscribers. They don't give you another one until you get to 1 million. And I'm at 500,000. And so I'm like, can I dye this one a different color to make it, or that one, whatever, to make it look like it's a new award?
Yeah. like at least give you a little sticker next to it, Or just
like one of those. I just put an "I voted" sticker on it, and just that's enough.
I mean, look, it's cool that you got 100,000+ subscriber plaque on your wall, but I have something that matters a little more in these end times.
4, Ben. How long's that gonna last you?
An hour or 2.
Yeah.
Rachel, what else we got?
So we got Tim Mullen gave $5. Kibbles and Bits gave $5. Razor gave $5 and said, I just want a Sanders Bootengig 2020 because they look like Rick and Morty. Talee Witt gave $2 and said balls on top for the win. Revel $5. Oh my God, balls on top. Josh L gave $5 and said thanks for the laugh. And then John Cobb gave a couple bucks and said hello.
By the way, I think Balls on Top is the name of my new band. That is phenomenal. We also got
Go ahead.
I was to say we also got a Venmo come in. Chris Zagorski just threw in $25 and said that it is for Beetlejuice. So that's an okay boomer one, which we appreciate.
I just, for the first time in my life, feel lucky enough that I haven't seen enough penises to know that there's that many weird ones out there. Like I've seen mine and the ones that are camera ready. So like I haven't seen ones that are weird enough they don't show
The
anybody.
thing is, if you did have balls on top, you would just have to marry the very first person you slept with and been like, yeah. No, they're all like this.
I mean, or not that I'm speaking from experience, you could just spend a lot of your life dating while walking on your hands with shoes on your hands.
Yeah, that was also another way to do it. By the way, Ben, I don't want to make you feel jealous or anything, but I have quite the supply here. My head's disappearing into it. Damn it.
We also had some non-super chats come in that were quite funny. A lot of people commenting on the COVID-19 2020 reference. We had Selva the Wise said, COVID isn't even old enough to drink yet.
Oh, nice.
And then speaking about, you had asked about if people have been more gassy than lately. Nathaniel,
yes, I did want
gassy. You did. I eat a lot of spinach spaghetti.
Oh my God! All right, we have to do a telethon for people to get gas medicine. I guess is our new.
I mean, we're all gassy because there's no pasta left that isn't made of beans. Like I went to the store and it was just like, oh, would you like some penne pasta of red lentil? And you're like, no.
Well, I thankfully live alone, so it doesn't matter if I'm gassy. I'll be fine. You gotta deal with living with your boyfriend. Are you guys quarantined together?
Yes.
That is why Steve, one of the sadder justifications I've ever heard for being alone during quarantine. It doesn't matter if I have more gassy. I'm here all by myself for the end of time.
And by the way, you say it's sad, but that's only because you've been living with your girlfriend a while and you probably don't hold it in anymore. If you are someone who is in a new relationship and are stuck with someone in your new relationship and have to pretend you don't have gas during the end of times, fucking kill me now. Like I'd rather go out honest.
I mean, if you want to get off on intellectual discussion here, I never ever let it go. I try to maintain that modicum of class throughout any length of a relationship, because what else you got left? Once you let that go, you're never trying to appear at all presentable or attractive to your partner. So I never let it go.
Well, you sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, sometimes you sleep fart, right?
Yeah.
Say again?
You sleep fart sometimes, Ben, right? Don't you sleep fart, or no? You are completely gasless all the time?
If it ever happens in bed, I'll do the courteous. I'll open the curtains, the drapes, and make sure it goes out the other way.
Well, what's amazing when you don't eat fruits and vegetables is your farts do not smell, because it's the enzymes that break down vegetables in your stomach that make your farts smell. So my farts haven't smelled since '96. So they're loud and hilarious. They're loud and hilarious, but no smell whatsoever.
By the way, I have a theory. I have a theory that if farts didn't smell, they would be the best thing. Like if you could just make the noise without the smell, I feel like you'd be a conquering hero. It'd be hilarious. Like whenever you did it.
That's me. I'm telling you, every time I fart, I've had friends that are like, that's not true. And I'm like, I swear to God, and they'll follow me around a whole party, and I'll put my finger up, and they'll come over and I'll fart, and they'll try to smell. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm not kidding. They do not smell if you don't eat vegetables.
By the way, your friends are very weird.
You definitely need cooler friends. First of all. Secondly, I don't think there's a single person in the chat or watching this broadcast that believes that A, yours don't smell, or that B, you don't know what a weird penis looks like. Okay, Flowers?
By the way, the reason Ben
you.
doesn't fart in bed is it's actually a thing just tied to his upside down penis. So if you have the balls on top, then it's all related. It's all related. By the way, we have a couple of Venmos came in. Gary and Oreo threw in $5 and said, "Love you guys." And then Marcus Greek threw in $5 and wants us to try a tongue twister. Now I'm the only one reading it, so I'm going to give it a shot. Tongue twister challenge. I'm a mother pheasant plucker. I pluck mother pheasants. I'm the most pleasant mother pheasant plucker to ever pluck a mother pheasant. I kind of did it. I fucked it up. I did my best.
Well, try it faster. Try it one more time faster, Steve.
One more time. Okay.
Don't
I'm a mother
pause, don't
pheasant
try to read
plucker.
well, read fast.
All right. I'm a mother pheasant plucker. I pluck mother pheasants. I'm the most pleasant mother pheasant plucker to ever pluck a mother pheasant. Nailed it. Fucking A. Did it. This is what you could do when you don't have to waste time on having a girlfriend. You can.
First date material, like, hey, what's up? What are you into? Like tongue twisters mostly?
Yeah.
I'm assuming if you're a woman, you'd be impressed by tongue twisters, wouldn't you? If we put the time in where our tongue knows what it's doing and it has the right, no, nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
You think?
I offered
That's
my
not really the
girlfriend
best
tongue
use of it,
twister,
though.
She said she was not in the mood.
All right, Rachel, do we have any more super chats coming in?
We do. EJ Davis gave $50 and said, thanks for arranging the
Whoa.
sessions. Wishing you all the best in these
Wow.
unusual times.
Shout out,
Thank
EJ.
you so
Thank you
much.
very much for doing that. That is incredibly supportive, and we appreciate that.
We had Seller of the Wise give $5 and said, hey, Steve, I think I'm the reason why you now say to bug your local venues. I love your comedy. Hope to see Dan Muggleton on the show sometime. He's a bit
Oh,
late.
nice. Dan was on the show already, but we'll try to bring him back. And by the way, so that reference is people all the time will say, hey, when are you performing in Calgary? When are you performing in Omaha? Like whatever it is. And my answer is always, hey, bug your local venues to have me, and that helps. Which is the best way I can say, check my fucking calendar. It's the nicest way to say it. I try to, the worst part though is when people and other comics, please chime in, even the comics we haven't introduced yet, please chime in if this happens to you as well. Do you, like, you'll perform in a city and then like a week later, someone will be like, hey, when are you going to be in that exact city that you were just in?
Always.
Do you guys get that as well?
Always.
Absolutely.
It usually
Awesome.
happens literally the day or 2 days after I've been there for 6 days or 4 days. When are you coming to Chicago, bro? Is this a prank show I'm on right now?
Yeah, there's a picture of me in a Cubs hat eating a hot dog at Wrigley on my Instagram. And then people will also be like, hey, how come you never come to X? And I'll be like, I am there right now. Like, why? I'm there. I actually changed my website now, and it's definitely a passive aggressive thing, but I changed my website so that when I don't have a show coming up in an area, it lists all the shows I've already had in that area. And it's not like, hey, here's what you missed. It's more of like, don't fucking ask me. I've been there. I'll come back. Relax.
Well, also, it's a great example of, I think, just internet culture and people not really wanting to do shit, but rather lamenting how they can't do shit. Is I will sometimes get, kind of like you mentioned, people are like, when are you coming to Minneapolis? And I'm like, I'm there now for the next 3 nights. Come catch a show. And they're like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a running joke with my friends that every time, like with the comics I tour with, every single time I've ever been stopped on the street by someone being like, hey, I watch your videos, I'm a fan, they never come to a show. Every single time. There was one in Ottawa where I'm standing outside of Yuck Yucks, and there's someone standing outside of the restaurant next door, and they see me and they're like, oh man, I watch your YouTube. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. You come to the show? Figuring they're standing in front of the club, and they're like, oh no, man, I didn't know you were going to do a show. I'm like, yeah, 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow. They're like, where? I'm like, where we're standing. Would you like to come to the show? It was, oh no, I'm busy. I just always, it's just a running joke. If you run into me out on the street, it means you're not coming to the show. That's basically
You also,
how it works.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah. This is Dwayne Perkins, by the way, who's going to be our next comedian.
You also get people asking you where you're going to be. Either you're meeting them somewhere or they're coming to a show, and you give them the name of the place and the city, and then they say, "What's the address?"
Oh,
and I'm like, "Do you not have Google? Is it just?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I ran I used to answer the phones for the comedy clubs when I owned them, and literally people would call all the time and ask for directions. And I'm like, okay, open up your phone, hit the map thing, and then type in Morty's. Like, it's not that. What are you talking about? Directions? I don't know where do you live? Oh, okay. And I mean, yeah, people are. But Steve, you taught me not to ask questions. Like, you, for a guy who has a question and answer for every show, You fucking hate when people ask you questions, man. It really pisses you off.
I hate when people ask me unnecessary questions. Like Q&As, I love this stuff, but the unnecessary questions, like the idea, I taught you how to not ask questions that you can easily find for yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
like, what time's the show? He'll literally just like, I'm in the same hotel room. I'm like, hey, what time's the show? And he's like, you have Google? I'm like, you're right next to me. He's like, fuck you, Google it. I'm like, all right, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
On our text chain, Steve loves to end the conversation with this gem. Bowers or I will ask him an unnecessary question. He'll be like, Google it. I'm going to eat dinner now.
That happens 7 times a week minimum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the amount of times I eat dinner, and you ask me every fucking day. So that's really how it works. No, but I really do believe that people should make a better effort of finding out for themselves when they get a chance to. And it's different. Like in this, people are asking us questions that are like evocative, or they're about our feelings. They're not stuff that you could just like Google easily. But we get that all the time as comics. There was a great meme I saw where someone posted something. It was something to the effect of like, hey, I'm selling a floral print dress. It will be at 8:00. Here's the phone number. And then every comment underneath is just like, what are you selling? Like, what kind of print does the dress have? What's your phone number? What is your name? Like, it was amazing. And that's exactly what it is. I would say this. Here's the game we're going to play today, the $5 game. So the $5 game, the way it works for those who are new to the stream is anyone can participate. You don't have to pay $5 to participate. Anyone can participate. We'll read the best answers out. But if you participate with a $5 tip, whether it is a Venmo or a PayPal or a Super Chat, you are entered to win all 12 of our hosts' albums. And so that's the way it works. The game, this one, will be what is the most ridiculous thing that someone's asked you that they should have known already. I think that is easy to play. And the last thing I'll say before we go to our next comic is I also get annoyed when people try to offer me directions. Like, have you ever had that? Where like I'll be at a hotel and like I'll say like, oh, can you recommend a good restaurant? And so they'll tell me whatever restaurant, and they start to tell me how to get there, and I'm like, no, once I have the name, I'm good. Like I have a phone.
Right.
Yes. Or it's a little bit like, I did a joke about this in my first TV set in a year that I'm embarrassed to mention, but I'll say it for comedic effect. I was 25. This was 2003 or something. But on the Late Late Show, I had a joke about when you ask people for directions, they will often first tell you the way you're not supposed to go.
Oh, 100%.
They'll often tell you stuff like, well, you could take Old Mill Road to the 13, but there's the construction. You'll lose an hour.
Yeah.
Tell me the way I'm supposed to go.
I also like when I play colleges, so often, like I'll just like, they'll just tell me, they're like, yeah, what you do is you take a right into the parking lot. And I'm like, but you don't know which direction I'm coming from. Like, how do you, what if I'm coming from the other way?
Right.
Now I once had great directions. This is before GPS and all this stuff. When I first started speaking to schools, I was trying to find this middle school in tiny little town in Kentucky. And I stopped at this gas station. I'm like, do you know where so-and-so middle school is? And the guy goes, yeah, man, go down this road and you'll see a burnt out gas station, and then turn left on that. And then there'll be an El Camino on the right. And then there'll be a big maple tree. And then you'll hear a dog bark. When you hear the dog bark, take a right, and it's right up there on the left. And
nice.
Fuck, I did not know. There was a Sunoco. It was all burned out. You could still see where the letters used to be on the building. And then, like, literally there's an El Camino. And then, there's a tree. And I heard, and I turned. I was like, those are the best directions I ever had. That dude knows exactly what he's talking about. It's amazing.
By the way, to add to that, the worst directions, I think, are when people give you a crazy amount. Like, they'll be like, well, go 7 stoplights. I'm like, I'm not fucking counting 7 stoplights.
Right.
Like, you go through, was that 5 or 6? I don't quite remember. Like, just fucking tell me the name of the street. Streets have
when
names.
People act as though you're just very familiar with the town. They're like, okay, so you know the 3rd on-ramp. You go under the 3rd on-ramp, turn right at the old gas station. It's like, I don't live here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm lost. I don't know where the old Stacey Penny used to be.
Oh, I've had people, I had someone do that to me. I was staying at a hotel. And, and they were like, well, Main Street. I'm like, no, I'm literally sleeping in a hotel. I'm clearly not from here. I have no idea where anything is.
I'm not cheating on my wife. I'm not from here.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, this is way too fancy of a hotel for this to be a cheating hotel. Do I look like I'm going to be a cheating hotel? I have a home studio, for God's sakes. All right, with that, and I know we have some more super chats coming in, and we have some more Venmos as well. So I'm gonna read real quick one more Venmo, and then we're gonna get started with the next comic. So Chris Sampson throws in $5 and then says, "Oh, Reboost is live on the Unity stage with a link to Venmo to help." That's awesome. Chris Sampson runs this thing called Unity Stage, where they are kind of boosting everybody who's doing at-home entertainment in these times. And so he's including us. So much appreciated, Chris. We appreciate that. And we'll go to some more of the super chats in a second. But first, our next comic. Who's introducing Dwayne?
I got it. All right. So this next comic, again, one of my great friends, as they all are, that we're bringing on the show, most of them. Anyway, he's got a special on Dry Bar. He's got a special on Stars. He also has a book on Amazon called Zombie Run, which is ironically enough about the apocalypse, I'm assuming. Give it up to my good friend, Dwayne Perkins. Let me hear you. Dwayne Perkins.
Woo! Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Here's how much I like sports. I've watched competitive juggling. Actually, it was combat juggling. You got to love sports to watch combat juggling. I also love sports so much. I recently watched a marathon. My remote was working, but I just watched the whole thing. But it did, like the batteries were working, you know what I mean? But it gave me an idea. Here's my thoughts on the marathon. I think it's time we admit that when it comes to a marathon, we need two winners. Let's just be honest. There should be two winners. The African who actually wins, and then the first non-African. You know what I mean? Like, say you run a marathon and you're like a white guy, American black guy, Asian, Latino, whatever, right? Say you run a marathon and you come in 7th place, but the 6 people before you were all African. Then you won the marathon. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to you beat all the non-Africans. You should be able to tell your friends, "Hey, I won the marathon." like you wouldn't count a guy who was on a bike, right? It's like they were on a bike. Like the guy who won, he didn't even know he was in the race. He was just gonna go see his cousin. He was like, "Oh." And here's the thing. Here's how fast this guy ran the race. He ran the marathon in just under 2 hours. Now, when it's not the apocalypse, if you live in Los Angeles, I challenge you on a Friday at 4:00, hop in your car at Glendale and try to go to Woodland Hills. It's exactly 22 miles, okay? And I promise you, Ubuntu will beat you there. Like, that's a promise. But at least running is safe, right? I actually did something very not safe back when we could travel. I recently went to New Zealand. I went to New Zealand because I wanted to double the Black population. So mission accomplished on that. But here's the thing. They tricked me into whitewater rafting. Yeah. And like, when I got there, they told me it was for beginners. Like, and I'm like, okay, I'm a beginner. Get into this raft. There's a 22-foot drop. And I'm just like, how do you fix your face to say that's for beginners? That's what I don't get. Like, that'd be like if you went to a boxing gym and you never boxed before, and you're like, "Hey guys, I just want to get in shape, and I don't know what I'm doing. Is this how you punch? I don't know." And they were like, "Okay, no problem. Let's pop you in the ring with Mike Tyson. He'll show you a few things." Like, it's just 22-foot drop. You can see they took pictures of us, okay? And in the pictures, you see us at the top of the cliff, top of the waterfall, and you see us going down, and then you don't see us. We're just submerged completely in the water. And here's the thing. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? May not sound like, but I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from like crack era Brooklyn, right? I'm not from the new Brooklyn. I'm not from vegan cupcake Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, right? And Steve knows what I'm talking about, right? You don't want to survive Brooklyn, like crack, shooting, stabbings, all of that, and then die in New Zealand. Like, that's not a good look. That's that would be like if you were like a war vet. You were a decorated war hero. You served 2 tours of war. You came home and you choked on a Skittle. Like, you're still even a hero at that point. You know what I mean? But the one thing I will say is that it wasn't all their fault. It was partially my fault because I wasn't paying attention. Like when I walked in, they told me what it was. I wasn't paying attention. They told me as soon as I walked in because it said it. It said it right there, clear as day. It said it. White water rafting. You know what I mean? So if I was paying attention, they told me what it was. And you could break down the whole name. White. I'm not white, right? Water. That's not our jam. You know that's not our jam. Like you ever go to a black pool party? That's just a party by a pool. That's all that is. Right? You don't in the water. Then you got rafting. The last time a brother was in a raft was in Huckleberry Finn, and I didn't appreciate the language. But you know, traveling is amazing. I also went to Amsterdam not so long ago. The thing about Amsterdam is everyone's on a bike. Like that's the craziest thing, and like they don't even have to explain. Like in America, if you're on a bicycle and you're over 18, and like that's your primary mode of transportation, you kind of have to explain yourself. You know, it's like, hey, I noticed you on a bike. Do you want to talk about it? Like what happened in your life? And in Amsterdam, you'll see a man in a 3-piece suit on a bicycle going to work. He's probably the president of his company with a basket, bling, bling, on his way to work. Like tomorrow, when this is all over, you see a guy in a 3-piece suit going to work on a bicycle. You're gonna say to yourself, "Wow, his divorce lawyer sucked." Like that guy lost in the divorce, and that's why when people ride bikes nowadays, they go out of their way to tell you it's a hobby. No one can just hop on a bike. Like 20 years ago, you just hop on a bike with some jeans. Now, no, you got to look like you're in the Tour de France, right? You got to be Lance Armstrong. You have to have a $2,000 bike, stupid aerodynamic helmet, right? You have the shoes that lock into the pedals. You got to get sponsorship. And I'm like, what are you trying to shave 30 seconds off your time to Jamba Juice? Like, relax, you're an accountant. You know what I mean? And when I see the shoes that lock into the pedals, I get sad. I do. Because every time I see someone with shoes that lock into the pedals, I say to myself, that guy doesn't know how pedals work. It's really sad. Like, the only time you need shoes that lock into the pedals is only 2 times. Is if you have one foot, one pedal, or 1 foot. Because you got to bring it back if you got 1 foot. You know But lastly, I'll say this. I do understand why this happens, though. If you go into a bike shop, like a high-end bike shop, they shame you. They make you feel horrible, and they make you feel like you're inadequate. In fact, if you want to know what it's like to feel black, if you want to know, like, not all the time, but what I feel maybe 2 or 3 times a week, if you want to know what that feels like, I give you a little experiment. Go to Walmart and buy the cheapest bike you can find, right? I want you to pop a hole in the tire on purpose. Then I want you to walk that bike into one of these fancy schmancy high-end bike stores to get it fixed. Like, hey guys, can you fix my Huffy? Hey guys, I got a Huffy. And the look they give you, that's what it feels like to be black. Yeah, it's it's a complicated look, though. It's a complicated look. It's a lot going on, right? Because it's like suspicion with a little bit of disdain, but also some sympathy. Because it's like they don't want you there, but they feel kind of bad about it. But it would be great if you could just leave. You know, like all these things are happening at the same time. Now, I will say this in finishing, be careful what you ask for, because I live in LA. I always complain about traffic. I write on this game show, and I always wanted to write from home, and I wanted there to be no traffic. I got all those things, but I didn't know it was going to take an apocalypse to get it. You know what I mean? So I feel bad about that. But everything's closing early, and I'm not waiting in line. It's basically, I know what it feels like to live in Butte, Montana now. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, that's my time with Dwayne Perkins. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Dwayne Perkins.
Dwayne Perkins, yes.
Okay, couple of things.
I love the brick wall. That is beautiful. I love the.
I got some construction paper and yeah.
How long did it take to make that, by the way?
Oh, just seconds. Once I figured out how to do it, I was gonna actually like put paper on it because I thought this should be white, but I said it can be black. They'll get the idea. You know what I mean? So,
well, just by the way, just to don't mean to make you feel bad, but here we go. So,
oh snap.
But also, in fairness, I don't have construction paper, and I'm terrified to go outside right now. But we had a couple of Venmos. We had a couple of Venmos coming in specifically for Dwayne right now. Which, by the way, the tip jar is open. If you want to throw Dwayne a couple of bucks, Venmo, it is in the top right corner. You can go to our website if you want to PayPal, or you can super chat if you're on YouTube. We have a bunch of super chats to get to. But Jillian Delano throws in $20. says Dwayne probably missing his Starbucks annexes right now, and also shouts out your I think your Twitter or your Instagram at Funny DP.
Nice.
So that's awesome. And then Jane Stewart throws in $5, says hashtag water is not our jam. And then says, thanks for the laughs. I'd give more, but I'm a resident physician, which means I only get one paper mask per day, and I make $9.35 an hour. Love you guys. Jane, we love you for what you're doing right now. You guys are on the front lines.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The heroes of COVID-19 are absolutely going to be medical professionals and grocers. Those are really the two toughest professions right now, which is not, I've never put them in the same sentence before, but it is 100% the two most important professions right now. Rachel, what else we got coming in?
Yeah, so we got our famous Z Bunster gave Dwayne $20 and said, Dwayne, I can't write. I'm having too much fun laughing. No, I can't do both.
Nice.
Oh, we had Nathaniel Crawford comment, Dwayne is awesome. I still remember him from High Confidence, Low Self-Esteem.
Oh, old school. Nice. That's my old podcast. Dwayne was on it 6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We had Tim Mullen give $5. Kibbles and Bits gave $5 Canadian dollars.
It still counts. We still appreciate it. We don't.
It does.
We look. We don't shame them for their economy. All right. We don't. We're gonna catch up pretty quickly.
No, we love when Canadians donate. We just love it a little less.
Yeah, we just love it like 70% as much.
Let me just quickly make the argument that while, of course, the heroes of this incredibly trying time are our medical workers and our grocers, I'll argue the grocers are really more of the heroes, because if you're sick and you don't go to the doctor, you might survive. Without food, guaranteed death.
That is a very good point. Yeah,
that's why I think that the real Euros are Euros. I'm still here. Bye-bye.
Francesca with the 3 for long distance. Nicely done.
I'm going to Venmo you $5 personally for that one. That was a great joke. I really like it.
Thank you.
The Imperial Euros are the Euros is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, the key is if you start 50 pounds overweight, then you aren't going to starve. See, I've been ahead of this apocalypse curve this whole time. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, and apparently your farts don't smell. Although some of your friends have chatted us that you might not be telling the full truth, and maybe just no one's told you. So that said, Queen Rachel, what else we got in the chat?
We have like 20 of them to go through. Mitchell
let's get to
Kerzinger gave $5 and said, hey, Steve, we were going to see you in Montreal. However, this pandemic made us cancel our flight. Do you know when your next show in Canada is going to be?
It's gonna no, I have no idea. Canada's a large place though. Which, by the way, if anyone gives $5 Canadian, you could just say, hey, this person donated $3.50 and we'll know. But either way, I do have some Canadian shows that have not been canceled yet. I have everything. I think everything June or later should be good, and I'm hoping for May. We'll find out soon enough. But I'll post it on my calendar. Bug your local venues to have me in. What else? What else we got?
Dirk Dieter gave tipped Dwayne and said, thanks, Dwayne, hilarious. He also tipped generally $5 and said, thanks for all the comedy.
Yay.
We had Tiny Des $5 and said, it's too funny that there are Mexicans now on the border telling Americans to stay out of their country.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's especially just a quick comment on that. The states that have been paying attention to COVID the least are actually along the border. So like Arizona and New Mexico and Texas are taking their sweet fucking time with this stuff. So I think that's the way that Trump figured out how to close the border, is just make it completely unlable. And they were like,
and Mexico might pay for the wall now. That might be something they do.
Yeah, exactly. Be built out of surgical masks.
I commented on my podcast, which just dropped today, actually, that there's a story I covered that people are going into Mexico to get toilet paper right now. So it's just a very interesting kind of conflation of all the events. First, if you remember how Trump disrespected the Latin community by throwing paper towels in Puerto Rico, as though all you need is paper, sop it up. And now we're going into Latin countries to get paper goods. And if any of those people going into Mexico are Trump supporters, they honestly, does the irony of that not blow up their brain?
Well, I would recommend.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't blow up their brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if any of them are watching this and you are a Trump supporter going into Mexico to get emergency toilet paper, I just recommend leave the hat at home, maybe, for safety.
Also, Ben, brain is a strong word when we're talking about this.
All right, Rachel, what else we got?
Rebel gave $10 to Dwayne and said, I once beat the crap out of my brother's Huffy by going on a difficult mountain bike trail. I took it to get it fixed. Dwayne is 100% right about that look.
Wow, so she already knows. That's amazing.
Nice.
We had Skylar Smith give $10 and said, oh, here we go. My favorite tongue twister, say Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch?
Wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
Irish
wristwatch. This is particularly rough because 2 of the 3 hosts used to have lisps. So that is a specifically frustrating one, because when I was a kid, that would have just been Irish bit and I would have stopped. Like that would have been it.
We had our winner from yesterday, Jennifer Kofid, gave $5 and said, Steve, maybe Ben will let you borrow his plastic girlfriend.
That is from a previous episode.
First, though, disinfected first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the box has still not been opened. All you got to do is Lysol the outside, then it's all you, Steve.
Oh no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
What'd you do to the outside of the box? Jesus.
what he was supposed to do to the inside of the box.
You're not using it right, Ben.
I'm not telling people you have a cardboard fetish. It's much easier to buy the doll. You know?
Yeah.
When you have a plastic girlfriend, she does not judge balls on top.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn her upside down.
Yeah. Rachel,
we have Clarky Rock gave $1, Running Wild gave $5, and said, if you have a stage and a zip code, Steve will be there.
Hell yeah.
We had
and actually
John
on this
Holder.
show, not even a stage.
Yeah.
Just
a camera.
Yeah.
John Holder, $5. Steve, hurry up and come to Florida.
Based on what's happening there, no.
Wait. Can I say something about Florida though, real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in Florida recently, and I did shows for the Innocence Project. It was like a bizarro kind of thing, because what they do is they get people who've been wrongly convicted and get them out of jail. And I did like 3 shows for these guys. So even in Florida, there's some dashes of hope and people doing good things. Shout out to them.
Oh no! I really thought that that was gonna turn into like a bit. And
yes.
Look at Dwayne Perkins with uplifting hope all of a sudden.
That's nice. Which, by the way, Florida probably voted 51-49 against the Innocence Project. So
right.
And also, why does Steve's fan in Florida want him dead? He's like, hurry up and get to Florida.
Give me 2 months. Give me 2 months. I just did a huge tour of Florida. It is the last tour I did before this whole thing broke out. I got the fuck out of there. It was a lot of fun. But the thing that I've realized is Florida is America's junk drawer. Like this is the case, because in one day along the side of the road, I saw a live turkey, a guy in a full tuxedo, and a rodeo clown. And like, the drawer that you have at home where you're like, oh, soy sauce and matches, like that drawer.
Right.
That's Florida for the rest of America. Where all the stuff we're just like, oh, old people on spring breakers. Yeah, let's put them in the same place. We don't know where else to put them.
That's true. You could see all that on Hollywood Boulevard too, though.
That's a good point. That's just a guy in a turkey costume. There's not a live turkey, Dwayne.
You can see most of that in my apartment.
Yeah.
Every body of water in Florida, a small pond, has dinosaurs in it that'll kill your children.
Yeah.
The fact that people water ski in Florida blows my mind. Like if I'm in an Indiana lake and a fucking leaf hits my foot, I think I'm dead and I'm running away. I can't imagine being in Florida where there's alligators and I put them in the water. Oh, there's no way I can do that.
But you know what else? In Florida, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris. What else? One of the shows I did for the Innocence Project was at this high school, a private high school that cost like 30 G's a year, and like maybe like 50% of the students go to Ivy League schools. So there's this like, maybe this is junk drawer, but this is weird piece of Florida that's like falling out of control, liberal.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, they just don't speak out. They don't. You're not going to find them at the Waffle House, I guess.
Yeah, there's no that's the weirdest thing about Florida though, is that it has that. Like it has like these college towns, and then it has like these little swamp areas. You know, there'll be like Gainesville, and then there'll be Plant City. And it's like in the same, it's a very weird, very tall state with a lot of stuff to it. Yeah.
Also, please be sure and check out Dwayne Perkins' new stand-up special. Florida is a place where there is still some glimmers of hope.
My favorite thing, Dwayne's Twitter is funny DP, correct, Dwayne? That's your
It is, yes.
Which to me sounds like a blooper Pornhub channel. Is that just me? Like
right. It's,
Yes.
Touch, they touch. We got to go back.
We got to go back. Right.
Can I also just point out before we move on from this that Chris Bowers thought the weird part about water skiing was the possible alligators, and none of us thought it was weird that Chris Bowers water skis.
Rachel's never laughed harder on this show.
Don't judge a man by a suit jacket.
Yeah, he water skis, but it's in a bathing suit that is a tuxedo still somehow.
Right.
Rachel, do we have a couple more super chats before we get to our next comic?
So many. So Taryn Howard gave Dwayne $50 and said, "Thanks, DP. Walmart bike stocks are going down after that set."
Oh,
hell yeah!
I think I know him actually.
That's awesome.
Is it Taurean?
It is, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Did I pronounce
know
it right?
Yeah, it's Torian. Yes.
Torian, okay.
It's my brother. It's my brother.
Oh,
that's your brother.
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice. I love that you were like, I think I know him. And be like, oh, how do you know him? He's my brother, actually. He's. Well, we actually kind of grew up together. Our moms know each other.
I treat everything like I'm talking to the cops. That's just my general.
I also, by the way, I almost forgot to comment on two things on Dwayne's set. One, I know which Brooklyn he's talking about because I am 40 years old and I grew up in Queens, and things were very, very different before Disney owned Times Square. Like before all that happened.
When there was karate movies, kung fu movies and stuff.
Oh my God, yeah. When Times Square, when it was basically like, if you go, because like now you can live on like 11th Avenue. It used to be if you get up to 8th Avenue was 8 Mile. Like that was, it was a very, very different place where like you basically like, oh, would you like to go west of 8th Avenue? Be like, yeah, sure. Which porn theater would you like to go to? Like that's what it was. New York was very, very different. But also when you said you were like, speaking of dangerous things, I went to New Zealand and I was like, well, that's not very dangerous. And then you were like, oh, and then I went whitewater rafting. I'm like, oh, that is extremely dangerous. Now I completely understand. I thought at first you were doing a joke about being dangerous to be a black guy in New Zealand. I'm like, no, they're very peaceful people.
No, they're nice. They're nice. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, can I quickly tell you guys a knock-knock joke?
Sure.
Yeah.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Lots of people.
Lots of people who?
Lots of people who are wrongly imprisoned in the Florida correctional system.
See, Ben Gleib's new special, Knock Knock Jokes for Freedom.
Oh, very nice.
So, Rachel, what else we got?
Shelly gave Dwayne $10 and said, "For Dwayne for supporting the Innocence Project, you rock."
Nice.
We had a tip for Francesca come in from Dirk Dieter for Francesca to get a gyro.
Oh,
a euro.
A euro.
Euro.
Thank you.
Christ.
Yeah.
We had Aaron Reiser give $5. Hey, Steve, thanks for this. Be well.
What's up, Aaron? I know Aaron. We're not related, but we did grow up together. So I know Aaron. That's actually Dwayne's other brother. It's
right.
Yeah.
We had Mitchell Kurzinger give $2 and say "fuck Air Canada."
Hell yeah, fuck Air Canada.
Dolores Martin $5. What's the weirdest smell that you've ever smelled?
Oh,
Way to
well,
rub it
Ben
in.
can't smell anything right now.
Way to rub it in. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
There's a plant in LA that I don't know if you guys know, but it's around Runyon. On your way to Runyon, it smells like something else. I'll just leave it at that. It's a flower.
That smells like weed, Dwayne? Or you saying it smells like weed on Runyon Canyon? Because I think that's weed. I think that's weed.
It smells like jizz. It smells like jizz, actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. Francesca is seconding that right there.
I thought you were saying, by the way, it smells like weed, and I'm like, that's not weed growing in Runyon Canyon. That's who's running through Runyon Canyon.
No, there's this flower, right, Francesca? You know what I'm talking about?
I thought it was like a jizz tree.
No, seriously, it's crazy. Just like the blocks leading up to Runyon, those blocks, like Gardner, those kind of blocks. You know what I mean?
You're not supposed to be at Runyon, Dwayne.
I jerk off on those flowers every day. Is that not supposed to do at Runyon Canyon?
Yeah. Chris Flowers, ladies and gentlemen. So, Rachel, what else we got?
We have EHC Meyer gave $200.
Whoa!
And said, This is just for the laughs. Take care of everyone. Shout out to everyone keeping us safe and healthy, especially at their own expense. I love you.
That is that is the single donation record. We've had a couple $100 come in before. The $200 that's the most so far. That is absolutely wonderful and generous of you. We very, very much appreciate you doing that. So shout out and thank you very much.
Very, very cool of you. Thank you. You're for sure part of the COVID-19 now, for sure.
Yeah, there are only 18 slots left if anybody wants to beat the 200.
Tony, who's in the audience, just commented on our tweet here, Dwayne, or our meeting here, Dwayne, that those are called kumquat trees at the Runyon Canyon.
That's hilarious. Nicely done.
Yeah, at first I was like, is he a botanist? How does he know? Oh, got it. Okay. Rachel, what else we got?
Dolores Martin gave Dwayne $20. And then we have Becky Lynn, $25.
Nice.
And said, my mom is in the hospital with stage 4 lung cancer, and you guys have absolutely made her stay better. Thank you. Do good things.
Aww.
Well, very much appreciated. Of course, she does have to vacate that hospital bed for someone with COVID. So we're sorry to say. No, we very much appreciate being able to be a light for you in a dark time. And thanks for telling us that, because it makes us feel better about what we do as well. So
yes. Best of luck to your mom. Think positive, healing thoughts. It's incredible what the brain can do. You can literally create physiology that heals the body. So just think as positive as you can, laugh, listen to something that you enjoy, and just try to take deep breaths and do your part to calm it all down. Best of luck to you.
I appreciate you encouraging her to think positive thoughts, Ben, but as positive as you get, that blow up doll is not coming to life. So it's just not going to happen.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Rachel, we got anything else?
Just a couple more. David Bridges
cool.
gave $10 and said, this is a stolen Facebook meme, but my kid says watching Trump do a press conference is like watching the kid who did not read the book trying to do his verbal book report.
Oh, that is 100% true. Except that kid is also really concerned with his penis size. Like, there's also that. Like, just be like, well, here's what happened in the grapes of wrath. And speaking of wrath, my dick's so fucking big. Be like that.
Sometimes the grapes are on top, okay?
If you show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Really great when there's a global pandemic. It's honestly, it's a really great tip is to makeup cures. You can just say, eat chlorine tablets, and then boom, you've got a cure a lot faster than doctors say you can get one. Really good.
But by the way, just to echo what you said, Ben, and I don't mean to what do you call it, company drop, but I did a show last year for the I want to get it right, International Neuroscience Institute, and there was a girl there who had like chronic sort of spinal problems, and she was becoming addicted to opioids, and she just sort of like through taking out inflammation, so not eating foods that cause inflammation, and just meditating, she got off the meds, and she's learned how to like sort of like deal with the pain. So that's a real thing.
Yeah, no joke. I mean, I have been a big believer in this in a long time. When my father went through colon cancer, we read this book called Quantum Healing by Deepak Chopra, and just to boil down the very important essence of it, I think it help anybody who's sick at all, is it's not even like a touchy-feely, hoity-toity thing to say that your thoughts become things. Abstract things like your thoughts create actual physiology all the time. Like if you get scared, that's an abstract thing. You're scared of a ghost, and all of a sudden you've created adrenaline in your system. You've created chemical compounds based on an abstract thing. Or if you get excited, you're creating endorphins in your body. Abstract thoughts actually create physiology. So you can create, with thoughts in your head, healing properties and chemicals that can help your body's ability to heal itself.
Right.
And by the way, yet none of us are going to tweet that these are cures to COVID. So, because we're responsible. So, Rachel, let's hit one or two more before we get to go to our next comic.
Okay, Clarky Rock just donated a couple bucks and said, Steve, see you in New Zealand when we meet at the end of the year, and the G comedian, #Hotstepper.
Oh, hell yeah. Here come the hot stepper. Slowly to New Zealand.
And then Kyra, who's from Florida, said, it wasn't all that bad. She gave $10. Steve, please say something nice about Florida. You know you had a great time in Ocala, #pocket knife.
I did have a great time in Ocala, and the #pocket knife is because when I did the Q&A after the show, the first question was some guy just really proudly and vocally, not shy at all, just raises his hand. He goes, y'all carry pocket knives? That was the question. That was Florida. I actually did. No, I think he just wanted to know whether or not we fit in. I do very much enjoy performing in Florida. Florida has spring training of my favorite baseball team, the New York Mets. That is a positive thing about Florida. And the crowds there are always great because the crowds there that do like my comedy very much don't like the same things I don't like about Florida. So we tend to mesh. So it goes quite well. That said, we'll get to more super chats in a second. Now it is time for our third comedian of the evening and or morning, depending on where you are watching this from. Chris Bowers, you doing the honors?
I got it. Yeah. The next comedian, she is amazing. You're going to love her. You've seen her on Conan. Also a very good friend of mine. Give her Emily Galati. Everybody give Emily a big hand.
Thank you for that intro. Everyone else got like a lot of jokes in comedy. I got Innocence Project, Cancer, Neurology Insert. Heartfelt feelings about Florida. It feels really good to do comedy. Really excited. Okay, let's get into it. So like Texas and Ohio and Mississippi outlawed abortion during this COVID-19 outbreak. And here's my question, okay? Who do I have to fuck in this country to get an abortion? Seriously, that's all I want to know. It's probably like a rich white senator like Mitch McConnell and gross. Like, don't make me think that. He's gonna be weird. He's gonna choke me and be like, how? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Mitch McConnell's neck looks like he breastfed 6 kids 4 decades ago. I don't know how. I don't even know that's right. I don't have kids, and I've only breastfed a few, so maybe I'm wrong. That looks like to me. Alabama, I Alabama tried to outlaw abortion a little bit ago. Like, I don't care what side of the debate you're on. I think we can all agree what we don't need is more Alabamans, right? Like, even if you're pro-life, you have to be like, I'm not sure that's the state who should take the lead on this. What I don't like is how religious they are about it. Like, Alabama is always just like, well, what if Mary aborted Jesus? You know, like, what if Mary aborted Jesus? And it's like, based on everything I know about Jesus, he'd survive. I don't know. I don't know. You think like Planned Parenthood can accomplish what every Roman couldn't? Doubtful. That doesn't seem likely. I don't know. I read this article recently that said part of the reason Trump got elected is the fact that liberal women refuse to date conservative men. It was a real dumb article, but it said because we like politicized dating and refused to date across the political aisle, it further drove the country apart and led to Donald Trump. Like, I don't think I did that. I definitely don't think I politicized dating. I just didn't know the men shouting obscenities at me as I walked into Planned Parenthood were interested. Like, how about we just go ahead and call him Plan B, you know? I don't even know why those two people would date. That's like a terrible pairing. I guess like when you think about it, when like a conservative man dates a liberal woman, it turns out a lot like Trump's presidency, right? Yeah, he just spends the whole time pissed off at the black guy who was there before. I don't know. Not everyone gets it. It's a good joke. I don't know if you've ever been to like Planned Parenthood. Every time you go, there's people outside like shouting at you. They're always just like, "You're a slut," like "You're a whore," like "You're a murderer," and it's like, yeah, but I am also so much more than that, you know? Like, I'm out here focusing on my flaws, you know? Abortion is something who I am. You know, it's a hobby at best. I'm just saying, if you want to hurt my feelings, you got to be a little more specific. Dig a little deeper, you know? You got to be like, "You're a slut. You're a whore. Like, you're a murderer. And the selfie you posted on Instagram last week made you look fat." And I'd be like, whoa. I was pregnant, asshole. I hate Trump. I do. I hate Trump. I hate him and his stupid locker room talk. Like, women don't have that. When we talk about sex, 95% of it is just, oh, and then I fucked him anyway. I also hate Pence too. Pence spent like 9 months in a vagina and has not been back since. You know, like what I'm saying, he's been there. He's like, it's gross. Like, I just want to. It's like I gotta say all 9 months because I'm pro-life, but I'd leave now if I could. Or that like wiped himself off from the doctors. Like, that was gross in there, and he's not been back since. Do we all get? I don't know if we all get it. I'm trying to say. We need to say that this next part. My friend is gay, but he's from Indiana, so he probably tells people he doesn't eat pussy because it's too spicy. You know. Burns, you know, like, do you feel it in the back? It burns in the back. So I just need something a little more bland, you know, like a dick. So weird. Okay. We'll get out of here on this. I'm a feminist, which I know is something we're all used to hearing men say. Now you guys say it right around 2 a.m. You're all feminists right around 2 a.m. It's amazing how that works. I quit at about 11 p.m., but you guys are out there fucking right. Way to go. I never pay when I go on dates, so I never pay, mainly because I figure I paid for the makeup. Like, what up? Yeah, right? Yeah, gentlemen, it's important to remember we're always a face wash away from friendship. Turns out men and women can be friends, right? When they both look like men. I went to work without makeup once. So, I got a raise. Good for me. All right, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Great job.
Tip
Great
jar
job.
is now open if you want to kick in a couple of bucks. Obviously, Venmo, top right of the screen. Also, our PayPal is on our website, laughfromhome.com, or you can super chat, throw a couple of bucks Emily's way. Meanwhile, by the way, we just had a Venmo coming in from Daniel Graves, gave $50 to the show and says, thanks for the laughs every afternoon. Hope to see some of y'all in Olympia, Washington when this is over. Absolutely. Bug your local venues to have us in. Rachel, do we have any super chats coming in?
We do. So the people are just now starting to tip, but we had some generic ones. Jennifer Kofed had donated a couple of bucks around that Florida comment and said, but does his pocket knife have a toothpick?
Oh, nice. Nice. I love callbacks
Throwback.
to previous episodes. Fantastic.
And she's the one that won with the pocket knife story, right? That was her. That was her thing that won yesterday. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah. Perfect.
And then Sally gave $10 and said, oops, decline. Call came in. That was inconvenient. Sally said, $10. They might actually be Bradford pear trees. They smell really awful, but they look kind of cute and they're popular city trees.
If anybody is a botanist and knows whether or not Bradford pear trees smell like cum, please let us know in the comments. That's a sentence I've never said. So yeah, cool. Any florists out there? Rachel, what else we got?
Yeah, we've got a lot of comments coming in, just loving Emily, a lot of emojis. Yeah, give me a little bit of time to kind of go through some of these.
Yeah, absolutely. So by the way, and if we have any questions from our audience, from our live audience, just let us know in the chat and we will get to you guys as well. And meanwhile, just some stories about our previous comics. So, and I apologize, this is the first time ever working with Francesca. She's super funny. But I know Dwayne and Emily personally. Dwayne, by the way, was the first comic that I saw in LA that I was like, holy fuck, that's a good comic. It was, do you remember? It was doing, no problem. It was doing, oh my God, Dublin's. I almost forgot the name of the place.
Yes.
Dublin's, this place on Sunset. They used to be so fucking good. I only got to perform there once before it closed. And it was the closest I've ever felt like feeling to a rock star. Like that, those crowds were insane.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And it hasn't been recaptured. It was, I call it Revenge of the Nerds because it was like cool people in the audience, like Backstreet Boys and people like that and NSYNC. But the comics ruled. The energy was just perfect. Because usually, like the next one that Jay Davis did, the one on Melrose, it's like the cool people and they're like this, But Dublin's, it was like, the comics were the rock stars and the rock stars were there to see us.
It was the craziest environment for shows. It was amazing.
Yeah, Brittany and Justin used to always go to that show when they were dating, and that got a lot of press as well.
And
Vince Vaughn would be there a lot. Yeah.
Interestingly, since Steve, you own Comedy Juice now, and I created it. An interesting fact about it was the Dublin show was every Tuesday at 10 o'clock at Dublin's, and Gleib's College Comedy at the Laugh Factory, which became Comedy Juice, was every Tuesday at 9:30 at the Laugh Factory. And every week, like Dane Cook, that was at the height of Dane, he would perform on my show, and we'd have huge crowds. And then he would go straight to Dublin's and rock out and close out that show. But the one that got all the press and all the attention was this Dublin show. And it was the exact same time, exact same week for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was an insane. I mean, in fairness, that's because Brittany and Justin were there. That is the main reason.
They had the free peanuts. That was big to me.
Also free peanuts. Yeah, free peanuts.
Dwayne, you said peanuts. You said peanuts, right, Dwayne? That was what you said.
Yeah, peanuts. Yeah, that's.
Although I will also say the first time I was ever there, there was Ahmed was hosting, and he said he did some joke about fake boobs. and a woman stood up and goes, "I have fake boobs." And he says something like, "Yeah, we can all tell." And she just flashes the crowd. And so then, Ahmed is like not quite sure what to do. And someone else stands up and goes, "Mine are nicer." And then she flashes the crowd. And I was like, oh, Ahmed's never going to get them back. Like, there's no way that anyone's going to be paying attention to anything else. But he actually had a really good line that got him back. He just goes, "Well, yeah, sure. If I just spent a lot of money for a new car, I'd show everybody also." And then then people focus again.
That's the only acceptable heckle if you're listening. If you're at a
show. and might I add, it also depends on the person whether or not it's acceptable.
Yes.
I disagree. I'll see anyone.
Of course you do, Flowers. Of course you do. There is a question in our video audience from To the Rescue.
Okay, To the Rescue has a question. What do you got?
Well, first I wanted to say I wore my shirt tonight in honor of Grant Lyon's dad. So it's
oh, nice, the milk shirt.
Love it.
But my question, and so I kind of always had the props. So these are, and it was kind of funny that the start of the show you discussed the Cards Against Humanity. So these are that's a kind of big Cards Against Humanity box. But I was thinking, like, if you ever made a Cards Against Humanity card, this is from Jack White from White Stripes, but
nice.
What would it say?
Yeah, so if you ever made a pack, because like I made a local pack myself, or if you had to write some cards, what prompt cards or answer cards might you write?
Well, one of mine would definitely, because they're nouns on them, right?
They could be anything. They could be anything for an answer.
I'm sure one of mine would be Air Canada, and one of mine would be a heckler for sure.
Yes,
like just to stay on brand. I think Bowers would be smellless farts.
Yeah.
Yes.
My farts smell like, and it'd be a blank, and then you'd have to fill it in with whatever it would be, which would be puppies or
cum trees.
Kumquat trees, yes.
Yeah. Ben, what would
if
your
my,
Cards
if
Against
my, if my
Humanity
farts smell like cum, that's a whole different conversation.
Ben, what about you? Do we lose Ben?
What was the question?
If you had a Cards Against Humanity, what would they be? Like personalized.
I think it would say, life smells like blank, and then every single answer would hurt me deeply.
Just be all of them. You would just be blank, and then blank, and then blank.
And by the way, I Googled it, like as we were talking about earlier, the Bradley tree smells like, and sure enough, here's the headline to this article in the all.com. Your street probably smells like semen right now, but it might, but it might not be. Oh, excuse me. Let me read it again. Take two. Your street probably smells like semen right now, but it might not next spring. So enjoy it now, because next spring, who knows?
When I was growing up and I was pretty poor, we didn't have those trees, but my street still did smell like semen. So anyway, I want to give a shout out. In addition to shout out to Dwayne, I also want to give a shout out. So Emily Galati, who did one of the first sets that we filmed for Laughs at Morty's, and crushed harder than almost anyone on the show. It was an absolute lights out set, and it was unbelievable. And I didn't know much about your comedy before then, and I've enjoyed it ever since. So we're very happy to have people on the show, and then I get to watch Francesca for the first time. It's just so much fun, not just for the audience, but I think for us, we get to hang out with amazing comics, which is pretty great. So Rachel, do we have some more super chats?
We do. Z Bunster gave Emily $20 and said, "Emily, you went there. You went everywhere. Yeah, I loved it."
Nice.
We had Josh L give a couple bucks, Revel $5 and said, "Face wash away from friendship." Laugh out loud. Nice. I need to find a way to use that in a daily conversation. We had Slee White give $2 and said, Tampa shout out to comedian Miguel Garcia and the box.
Oh, that's a reference to something that happened on one of my shows. Someone asked me at my show in Tampa, someone yelled out about, like, when someone asked me my favorite comic, someone yelled out Miguel Garcia. And I was like, is that like a local comic? And he was like, no, he's just my cousin. Like, does he do comedy? Like, no. So you're just referencing your cousin's name right now, a name that probably 1 million people have. He's like,
One
yeah.
time,
I'm like,
one time I was answering the phone for Morty's, and this guy calls and he goes, hey, who's the comic? And so I told him, he goes, is he funny? And I go, yeah, I mean, I think he's funny. That's why I hired him. I wouldn't hire people I don't think are funny. And he goes, well, I saw this big half Mexican once, and he was hilarious. Is he like that? And I go, was that guy at Morty's? He goes, no. I go, then yes, he was exactly like that big half Mexican you saw that one time. What the fuck are you talking about?
So great if you would just make up a name and see if he agrees with it.
Right? Like,
yeah. Oh, and also we just had a PayPal come in, by the way. We had $6 come in from Dining Grooves. So much appreciated on the support. Rachel, we got anything else?
Yeah, so that $5 that Revel donated, that was also on behalf of Halfway Dilettante.
Oh, nice. Love when you guys do that. I love when you guys support each other.
We've got Enmy gave $4 and said, epic, I love you guys. Richard Earl Deary gave $20 and said, Steve, when are you going to be back in San Antonio, Texas?
In November, if November is still a thing. We're hoping November exists, but we'll see.
Okay. And then
I wasn't
the only
serious,
ones
guys. I don't think the world's ending. That was Jesus Christ, nothing. Everybody's just like, that is. I guess I hope so. Meanwhile, Dwayne is like, well, I'll do a benefit show for November if I need to.
November's a great month. I just worked with November, and they were actually very positive. I don't want you to okay? Or it's colder than most months, but they do good stuff most of the
time. Yeah. Sorry, Rich. What else we got?
We have so the rest of the ones that have come in, we probably have like 8 from the game that we had asked.
Oh, okay, excellent. We have to get to the game. And also, by the way, I think this episode may have set a record for Super Chats and Venmos, which is awesome. I think our viewership is growing as we go, and our support is growing as well. And, thank you guys very much for being part of our quarantine. So let's play the game. Now, of course, the game was, what was it? What's the dumbest, what's the dumbest directions? What exactly did we say?
So we said, what is the most ridiculous thing, something that someone has asked you?
Yeah, that they should have known.
That they should have known.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So do we have any non-money participants, or are we going just for the super chats? Okay.
No, so I have a couple non-money ones that I thought was funny. Hayden Barker, who has a British accent, an American asked them, oh, do you know the Queen?
Oh, holy shit. Okay, that's a solid one. Could have kicked in $5 you could have possibly won.
Ronot had said, I used to work at a veterinary clinic, and I answered the phone, and the woman on the other end of the phone asked, after my cat is castrated, will he still want to make love?
I love the idea of like the cats. Oh yeah, they make love.
Yeah, that woman.
Like the other cats?
Fucking her cat, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
After the cat got castrated, the cat is like, I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love.
Yeah.
Well, my dog was spayed and neutered before I adopted him, and he still had a little bit of like sex drive left, and so I saw him hump this blanket in my house a few times, and I didn't stop him. I let him enjoy his last couple hurrahs, but weirdly, the blanket to this day still smells like Runyon Canyon.
I gotta say, that was a long way, and it was worth the journey.
Yeah, that payoff was worth the yeah.
That's like the top of Runyon Canyon. You're like, are we gonna get there eventually? And then you get there, and you're like, this view is amazing. This is totally worth it.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, Bowers, you can water ski your way right up there. So, what else we got?
So some of the super chats. So these are the participants that
All right, these are
paid.
the participants. So comics, pay attention because we will decide who wins the albums. What do you got?
So Kibbles and Bits said, "Do you miss your dead wife?"
Someone asked, "Do you miss your dead wife?"
Wow.
Did he kill her?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, because that's even more a ridiculous question. Because then clearly not.
But also, you can't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just Google that. Does Bob love his dead wife?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, some people might have been like, "Oh, what a relief." What else? That's a solid entry. What else we got?
Running Wild. Someone showing up at a restaurant, and she said, "Are you here for dinner?" No, I just showed up to wait tables.
All right, solid.
We had Trathorth Lamperidge said, "So to preface this, I work as a chef, and at the time I was working at a hotel. I was working outside at our pool bar when a guest asked me, 'Does a Caesar salad have lettuce?'"
Oh, wow.
Wow.
For Bowers on that one, that's a green.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if a Caesar salad had lettuce. I didn't know what it was. So thank you. I needed that.
Riverman, I was fishing on campus. I caught a fish, and a guy came up to me while I was removing the hook. He asked, "Wow, did you just catch that fish?" I said, "No, I'm just taking my pet for a walk."
Solid entries. I like this game. We might have to play this game more than once.
Yes.
Z Bunster pitched in and he said, "I used to crew on 2 mastered schooners. If this doesn't count, it's okay. But a passenger once asked my captain if the islands go all the way to the bottom."
Oh my God. Okay.
You're like, no, you can swim right under him.
That's like a legit question, though.
Wow. It depends on how old that person is. If they're 8, then that's a solid question. Yeah.
Exactly.
We've got 3 more. So Oxum said, "My sister, when in high school, once opened Google Chrome and then asked me, 'How do I Google something from Chrome?' She's not even computer illiterate."
Holy shit. Yeah, that's actually, there was a while where the #1 search term on Google was Google. Yeah, that is terrifying. It was a while ago at least, but still.
We had Kyra. She said, "My coworker didn't know that the word breakfast derived from breaking your fast from the previous night. She thought it just meant morning food."
That would, I can understand someone not knowing the etymology of that. But I'm just glad the person didn't think it meant like you had to break something. Like that was like in order, like, oh, you had to break the eggs. That's why it's called that. And you have to do it quickly. So yeah. What else we got?
Well, also, a lot of people don't know that the term dinner comes from people who just sometimes forget breakfast and lunch, and they start getting hungry. They don't realize why, and someone wants to say to them, "Dine, nerd."
What?
You know,
Oh, sorry.
Rachel. So
I'm
Ben
so
has to throw in $5 now. We're refunding all the super chats from the show just because of that joke. We really apologize. What else we got?
Doesn't feel great, does it, Ben? When one doesn't
Nope.
land. Jesus.
No.
That's usually my job.
And the last one. Ayman Saleh said, "Do you still have to wear your hijab even in the shower?"
Oh shit.
Whoa.
That is
Oh,
a good
wow.
yeah, that is a cultural ignorant one. I've got a couple that have been said to me that are fairly culturally ignorant, but rather than just make this show all the anti-Semitism I've experienced, I'm gonna add I think the dumbest thing that anyone's ever said to me, and we're gonna pick the contest winner in a second, is I got onto an elevator on the first floor of my apartment building, and it turned out the elevator was going down to the basement first before it went up. And so we go down to the basement and it opens and someone goes to get on. And before they do, they pause and they just go, "Are you going up?" Yeah. We're in the basement. No, left. Get on the fucking elevator. Like what? So I think that's the dumbest for me.
We had one more come in last minute.
Oh, one more last minute entry. Yeah.
So Buffalo Skis said, to my ex and I on the Buffalo subway, excuse me, you don't look like the type, but do you have Xanax?
Gee, that's not dumb. That's I don't know if that's dumb or that's just, yeah, that's desperate or that's like ingenuitous. Like just someone being like, hey, this is the best way. Because I mean, that's kind of like scalping tickets, but you can't, there's no like stadium for Xanax.
Right.
You have
Plus,
to just,
if you ask 100 people if they have Xanax, maybe 2 might have it. It's a numbers game.
Yeah. That's actually how I date. So be like, excuse me, you don't look like the type, but are you a blow-up doll? So
one more came in. We should cut off any more coming in. Richard Earl Deary said a coworker asked a woman if she was fat or pregnant, and the woman told the coworker she was pregnant.
Oh yeah,
that's always that's a tough one. You never, unless you know that person is pregnant, you don't bring it up. You don't just like walk up to people.
I don't think I would ask them if I saw a baby coming out of them. I still would just assume that, I don't know.
No, what you do, you just say to someone, oh, what a blessing. And then if they're pregnant, they'll be like, oh, thank you so much. And if they're not, you could just be like, good weather. It's such a blessing. We're having good weather.
That's only acceptable if you're like the Terminator to ask that, are you fat or pregnant? Like if you don't get human emotions.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not cool.
Or just if you're Austrian.
Right.
Yeah. like Francesca's just out there shooting threes.
Oh, dude, she's just sniping. She's a recon sniper, man, up in a nest, just fucking tapping motherfuckers. This is great.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so who do we think won? All right, let's vote on this. Who do we think won? So Bowers, what's your vote?
Well, first, I'm saying the dumbest question anybody's ever asked me is, "Are you going to finish that drink?" And secondly, I'm going with the island. That's hilarious.
By the way, people, I've heard your stories about like the phone calls that you would get at Morty's. My favorite one that you got asked was when someone was like, "Now, would my wife find this funny? Because she's kind of dumb." Yeah, like that was.
He calls up. He goes. Is that guy easy to get? Because my wife's not that bright, and I want to make sure she can understand it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how dumb is this chick that he knows she's dumb, right? And two, he'd been talking about how Jeff Dunham was his favorite comic, and that was too highbrow for this chick. Like when she's Jeff Dunham going like, who's talking? What's that stick? I'm confused. We got to go.
If you actually cared about customer service, you would have replied, well, which puppets does she get?
My favorite actual call, and I won't take too much time, but my favorite actual was in Louisville. It was New Year's Eve day, and the lady called and she goes, "Hey, is Bobcat Goldthwait there tonight?" I said, "No, he was there last month." And she's like, "No, I was watching the morning news this morning, and they said he was going to be there tonight." And then she goes, "Oh, hang on, that was on the DVR. I'm sorry." I'm like, Jesus. Now, we've all watched something on DVR and said it was going to like snow or something or the whatever traffic. And you're like, oh, really? And then you realize, oh, that's a month ago. I'm an idiot. But who DVRs the morning news and then watches it a month later? Like you catching up on your weather and traffic? What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're like, now it doesn't look like there's a 5-car pileup on I-70. So Ben, what's your vote?
My vote, I'm torn between the island and the fishing line, but I'm going to go fishing line. Did you just catch that fish? There's a fish on the hook. It's pretty solid. And the response was pretty good, too. No, I'm taking my pet for a walk. Love it.
Yeah, solid. Dwayne, what do you got? What's your vote?
Well, I would say it seems like the Queen one is not in the running, right? Do you know the Queen?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
They didn't submit.
Okay. I love that one because it's a Hail Mary. He might know the Queen. But I think that I have to go with the fish one. Because I think the island one is a question that you might have but be afraid to ask. So that person asking does you a favor, you know, because it's like you get to go, oh, look at that guy. But no, seriously, does it go to the bottom? So I gotta go with the fish. Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 for the fish, 1 for the island right now. And Francesca.
Oh, it's dead wife for sure. That's the best. That's the only stupid question. Do you miss your dead wife?
Francesca, you've obviously never had a wife.
Yeah.
I've been divorced twice. If you asked me how I met the first when she was dead, the answer would have been nope. I do not miss her at all.
No, that's the best one, because it's just like it's hard to know what to say to somebody in a tragic moment, and it's always fun to think about the dumbass who says the worst thing possible and the stupidest thing possible. So do you miss your dead wife is the best.
By the way, so many of these were so good. And we just got $5 sent in from William Ray that says, I love this contest. I wish I was set up to play sooner. I just threw in a PayPal on that. We definitely should do this contest more than once. And here's the thing. So right now we have the fish hook is in the lead with 2. So, but there are so many good ones. I'm actually choosing one that no one has chosen before, which is going to make the fish hook one win. The Caesar salad was the one for me. Like just the idea.
That was good.
Like is there lettuce in the Caesar salad? Like, I'm sorry, is there chicken in this chicken cordon bleu? Like just the idea of that is what it is. That is the only thing that's in it. That is what is made.
In Alabama, Caesar salads do not have fucking lettuce. It's M&Ms and shit. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, that's
Depends on where you're at in the country.
Alabama Caesar salad is M&Ms and bacon. So, by the way, Florida, that's a nice thing I just said about Florida, making fun of Alabama. You're welcome. So, I guess the fish hook wins, but these are all wonderful, wonderful entries. I love these. I love these so much. So we should definitely do that game again. You guys were wonderful. Do we have any before we do our plugs? Do we have any more super chats that we've missed?
We do. So just wanted to say congratulations, Riverman, because he's the one that won that, and he's been a support of ours since the beginning.
Riverman, yay!
Yay!
Halfway Dilettante gave 1,200 yen, which is about $11.
Thank you for that, by the way, because I was about to be like, oh my God, 1,200 yen.
And he was just talking to Revel and said, great, look what you made me do. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for the laughs. And then Tom the Cat gave $10 and said, hey, Steve, I know people rarely come to Connecticut willingly, but will you or anyone else be coming here? I saw your Bridgeport show last summer and it was hysterical.
Well, yeah, I have a Hartford show that was supposed to happen in 2 weeks. So that's not fucking happening. But we are going to reschedule that. It looks like probably October. So I think I'll be back. I think all my April Northeast dates are going to be moving to October. So hope to see you in Hartford, actually right outside of Hartford. It's the Manchester Funny Bone. So Manchester, Connecticut, not Manchester, New Hampshire. It's all very confusing. But yeah, well, I hope to see you there. Did we catch up, Rach?
Yep, we're good.
Excellent. Thank you. Long live the Queen. So with that said, let's do our plugs now. Francesca, where can people find out more about you? Where can they see you?
Oh, hey, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FrannyFio, FRANIFIO, because my name is really long. And yeah, watch News Broke when it comes out. New episode tomorrow or Saturday morning. Yeah.
Excellent. And what else we got with Dwayne Perkins?
Dwayne Perkins on the gram. Website is DwaynePerkins.com. Funny DP on Twitter. Obviously, shows are on hold, but check out my specials on Stars and Dry Bar. My book, Zombie Run, is available. And yeah, hopefully, the show I write on, Funny You Should game show, where every question has a funny answer. And hopefully, if things get going again, I'll be in Norway in August and in September in Australia.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. And I actually just realized the dumbest question I've ever been asked is, when are you coming to X City? Bauer, fucking nothing. You guys do not give me prompts at all on this episode. You guys tired? What's happening?
We're tired.
I thought that was a really solid one. I was like, oh, I'm going to kill on the way out with this. And you guys are like, no. Ben has no sense of smell. Bowers has no sense of comedy. What's going on here? So,
wow, that doesn't. You guys don't like it when people don't laugh at everything you fucking say, do you, motherfucker?
Well, no, that one was fucking. That one was a qualified good
sometimes you
joke.
think it's in your head, it's great, and sometimes it comes out and people don't get it, or they think you're being whatever. It just happens sometimes, man.
That was fucking Dwayne's texting while I'm doing the joke, so I know it's not my fault.
Welcome to the party.
No.
Dwayne's actually texting because he's like, "Oh, we got to do a fundraiser for the victims of that last."
No.
joke.
I didn't know that X. I didn't know X was a variable. You know, it took me a second because I was like, "What's X city?"
Okay, fair.
And then I realized it's a variable. I get it. I'm good at math.
Yeah. Too highbrow of a joke. It was that was in line with the puppets.
It was a math joke.
Blank City.
Got it.
Yeah, I should have said blank city. All right, you know what? That's my fault. Bowers, what do you got?
Just at Bowers Comedy on Twitter and then Instagram and Snapchat. Chris Bowers on Facebook. Again, my album pre-sale started on Friday. Unpopular Opinions, Chris Bowers. Go to Amazon or iTunes and buy that. And it comes out April 7th.
Excellent. And Ben Gleib.
Thanks so much, all of you, for watching Isolation Nation. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you for your generosity in the super chat today. Huge thank you to our comedians Emily and Francesca and Dwayne. You can watch or listen to my podcast, Last Week on Earth. I summarize the whole world every week, including up-to-the-minute news like the aid package that just passed the Senate yesterday. On Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The video will be released in the next couple of days, but the podcast audio is out. And my hour special, Neurotic Gangster, is on YouTube. Please check that out for free. And you can see me doing a live show in 2 weeks in Tampa Bay, Florida, where there are several intelligent people who are very, very sad.
Excellent. Nothing will be canceled in Florida in 2 weeks. Also, Emily Galati gave a shout out to everybody for watching. She had to leave, but she says in the chat that she really appreciates you guys were here. And I know that we're getting a ton of comments that we couldn't get to everything. Tons of people were playing the game that weren't Venmoing or weren't super chatting. I know we couldn't get to everything. We love you all. There are too many comments to get to everything, but please keep participating. And one of the ways that this show succeeds, for those of you on Facebook right now, go hit the little thumbs up, hit the hearts, give us some of those icons. Those help a great deal. On YouTube, please smash the thumbs up button. Oh God, I just used the fucking influencer fuck that shit. Press it, please. And support the show. That's the way it works. You don't have to give money to support the show. You can just share it with your friends. That still makes a huge impact. That said, tomorrow we got Chris Porter coming up. We're very sorry that Rose McGowan wasn't able to join us today. We hope to get her back in the future. She was very excited to do the show, and we hope that we're able to make it happen. So check us out tomorrow with Chris Porter. And then we've got some excellent guests coming up down the pike. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We love you. Taylor, take us home.